What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Broadway Joel, the boxing guru. Make sure you hit a like on this video, subscribe if you haven't already. All right, let's get into this video. In boxing, a lot of people wonder why a lot of boxing fans hate promoters, blame promoters, talk bad about promoters. This is a perfect example of what a story I'm about to say, exactly why us boxing fans hate promoters and why a lot of fighters are going the route of becoming their own promoters, or at least trying to co-promote themselves with another promoter. Mikey Garcia back in 2014 was probably, in my opinion, the best, one of the top 5 pound for pound best fighters in the world. He was a 130 champion. He had already been a 126 champion. And it was looking real bright for him. The future was looking real bright for him. He was signed under Top Rank with Bob Arum. And Bob Arum had Terrence Crawford, Yuriorkis Gamboa at 135. And he had Lomachenko at 126. And Lomachenko was talking about moving up to 130. So Mikey Garcia had plenty of options had he stuck with Top Rank with those fights, those legacy building fights. But from what Garcia's camp says is that every time he approached Bob Arum about, hey, let's get a fight with Crawford, I'm willing to move up to 135. Let's get a fight with Gamboa. Either he moves down to 130 because Gamboa was a small lightweight at the time. Either he moves down to 130 or I can move up to 135 either way. Oh, maybe you get Lomachenko to move up from 126 to 130. Make it a big money fight. And every time he came to Bob Arum with these fight suggestions, Bob Arum will go, okay, yeah, we'll set those fights up, but if you want one of those fights, you need to sign an extension with me. Because his contract, I believe, was ending at the end. Or something along those lines. And Mikey Garcia was like, wait. Like, I just want the fight. Like, why do I have to sign an extension? You know, maybe Mikey Garcia would have signed an extension, but he just, didn't want his hand to be forced. So Bob Arum just kept giving him the spin. And Mikey Garcia sued Top Rank. And they went to the litigation. And eventually they came to a resolution. Mikey Garcia got released. And Mikey Garcia from 2014 didn't fight for 2 years. And he came back in 2016. So he lost all that buzz that he was building up because he was knocking guys out. If you look at his box rec, he had like a good 3-4 knockouts in a row, and he was down. And then when he was going to the decision, he was dominating all 12 rounds. He was looking real good. He was looking like the next big thing. So after his 2-year comeback, he ends up realizing that he's not going to get the fights at 140 or at 135 that will be big enough for him or will be challenging for him. He claims that he wasn't going to be motivated to fight people at 135 that are less than him. So he ends up moving to 147. He ends up taking a couple tune-ups. I'm jumping around a little bit. But eventually he ends up going to 147 because Mikey Garcia is a great fighter. He's a fearless fighter. He wanted to fight the best. So he fought the best welterweight at 147 and pretty much loses all 12 rounds, gets beat up real bad. Not real bad, but he gets beat up. Clearly lost that fight. And then he fights Jesse Vargas at 147. Although he beat Jesse Vargas, he didn't look like the normal dominant Mikey Garcia. And now people don't look at him as a pound for pound fighter. And all that stems from what happened in 2014 with Bob Arum not willing to give him Lomachenko, not willing to give him Terrence Crawford, not willing to give him Gamboa. All these big money fights, all these legacy building fights. But Mikey Garcia in the past has said, I saw an interview, I want to say it was a week or two ago. He claimed like, oh, I made more money now without Bob Arum than with Bob Arum. And I guess in his, perspective, his life, that's more important to him than the legacy. But to a boxing fan like me, like, nah, man, I wanted to see him get his just due. I wanted to see him get his, career defining fight. When he's making an argument, when I'm making an argument for him to be in the Hall of Fame, I can point to these fights. Right now, I can't really point to a fight where I'm like, wow, he beat this Hall of Famer. He beat this guy who was a, champion that was reigning champion for 4 or 5 years or something like that. He doesn't have these fights. And it's not because Mikey's scared. Mikey was a 135, moved up to 147 to fight Errol Spence Jr. Look, Mikey Garcia is not scared of anybody. Believe me. I don't know if that's how it was coming across. As I'm talking, I'm like, am I making it sound like he's scared? Like, no. Mikey Garcia is willing to fight anybody, which is why he's at 147. He claims he doesn't want to fight at 140 because both Josh Taylor and Jose Ramirez are on the top rank banner. And also, Jose Ramirez trains with Robert Garcia, his brother, who's also his trainer. And at 135, you got Teofimo, who's with top rank. So, and I don't even think he can make 135 just yet. So he's been sticking around at 147. And I think all this stems from Bob Arum not giving him the fights. So when us boxing fans complain about a promoter, and I don't do it as much, but I've heard other people call them scumbags and thieves and this and that. Just know that this is coming from a long history of people being pissed off and of what they're doing to the sport and to the boxers. Like, these boxers are risking their lives. Like, they should get some privileges as to who they fight. And, if you sign a contract with somebody, you should honor that contract and try to make it as lucrative as possible, both for yourself and for him, for as long as the duration. Now, at the end, you want him to sign an extension. I understand that. It's a business. I get it. You want somebody to sign an extension. You work with what you can, but you don't hold them hostage. Like, hey, I'm not gonna give you any big fights, unless you sign an extension. It's like, now you're ruining the relationship. Like, the guy might have signed an extension had he beat Lomachenko. Let's just say he beats Lomachenko. He goes, you know what? But the way you guys promote me, this, that, or maybe you work out something with him. We're on a fight by fight basis. But the point is, this is why promoters get the short end of the stick. Why fighters get the short end of the stick, because promoters like Bob Arum, who do disgusting things like this. And yeah, so that's my video, guys. Make sure you leave a comment. Tell me your opinion on what transpired, or if you guys have any opinion on or question want to ask me. Just make sure in the comment I respond right away. Thank you guys for watching all the way to the end. Make sure you follow me on Twitter @_BroadwayJoel. All right, guys. Till next time. Peace.